Yeah, so the question I would ask is how much is too big or too little? Think that's attributable to size, but size in what form? Microscopic, planetary, plants, oceans, um, height, fatness, slightness, thinness. Like how much is too big or too little when it comes down to like helping out. Um, yeah, maybe the quickness is matched with helping somebody, an individual, just one soul, a few souls, a group of people that help save a whole bunch of souls, a group of people that wants to be saved but needs other people to be saved because it helps them confirm that they are not alone. Measurements that are highly needed and yet may transpire to indecision because I've been there before. If you've ever been there where everything seems perfect, whether it's with relationships, whether it's the feeling you get, whether it's the Holy Spirit, whether it's God talking to you, whether it's at work, whether it's the work you're doing, whether you're working out, whatever, writing, whatnot. Not something comes in. No, no, not that. Where you're just chilling there and you don't know what to do. And you just like, oh my gosh, this stuff is too good, too epic. I don't want to mess this up. Well, what happens? What will you do when you could translate that into a platform? And what, will that platform will it provide for you as much as you provide for others? Will that contributing factor be, albeit the best taste that you could ever have when it comes to food? Or like when it comes to like, whatever it is, whatever platform you're on. So like sometimes I could look at like all the things that I wanted to look at, but it's common. It's like now I'm starting to think like, how can I tell you something? But that deciding factor is ultimately up to you, and that is also where quality and quantity could be doubled up. It's not too hard to be involved with ways in which when you do become not outstanding and visual, but when you become somebody you are. Like it's confidence. It's not fake confidence. It's courage. It's being through experiences that you don't necessarily have to like remind yourself on. Like I do this a lot because I took it on again and again and again because I like to talk to my dad in that way too. But still, you have to like want to have like just like a good sense that you are what you are. You are what you can be, and you are what you can believe in. Like those are free living stances that I like. Like to me, if I ever wanted to like have a platform, I will want to know it that that platform is continually going to grow. That for people to say continually grow, that stuff is so easy to say. Like it's easy because it's like a commercial. It's easy because people actually do it all every day. Like it's growth is amazing. I love it. I see it all the time. But it's like growth isn't that easy sometimes. But sometimes for me, I think growth is becoming easier and easier. That's why it's like, what can we do to not stop, or what can we do to stop? Like certain envisionment purposes that have different actions and consequences, and can you really be that person, because are you really too big or too small for your own dang head? Like those are things I'm looking at, and like it's fun if I can be a part of everything. Yeah, like I think that's still true, but like I kind of flacked, but like I don't know. I reflect, and I assume certain freedoms that I don't think a lot of people really assume. Maybe, just because of what you're. But yeah, yeah, yeah. And so everything is good. I'm not trying to put you down. Everything is good, good. I just think don't be encaptured by crazy, crazy thoughts. Like don't doesn't make any sense. No, no one's trying to put anyone down. Like it's not that. It's solemn because being confident and intertwined isn't easy sometimes. When you hear things you already knew, right? So like what I was talking about with my dad, like saying things you already know over and over again. Sometimes that's good, sometimes it's bad. When you know when you're in your good and it helps you, I think, is that good for you? Because to me, it is good for me and it helps a lot. It helps a lot. But I really wonder, does it help? Does it like help? Like help? Does it help? Does it really help? Yeah. At the end of the day, perhaps. And I think if you can repeat things over and over again, you gotta kind of be responsible for that, right? Like you can't just keep on saying it like you know it to just say it, right? Maybe that's the attitude that I had back in the day when I kicked butt. Like that's what I feel like my drive was towards. Like you got if you're gonna be able to say it, you got to be able to do it. Like those are the kind of things that like I don't know if it makes sense if timing isn't right. I don't. I don't know if it makes sense because say I was in a space where I was reading upon this and I was learning about this and then I had a full out like those things. And like and I was so involved with that, the architecture of that goes to that. Like that is influence, that is too much too little introspect. But I mean, it's the thing that I feel like is kind of important for me to like open up about, I guess, because yeah. Uh, and how about when things are aligned, like when things are like really popping, and it's just like, how about when things are when everything's aligned and you thought like, oh, that time it wasn't pop, like no, not that one. It's like, oh, that prefecture was pretty popping and then you heard it and then you knew your possibilities and you're like, oh, that's what they processed because that's exactly what I did and then I added to it and then they said something and then I added to it again. Like it's just like it's it's trying to realize that if you're fully aligned with certain things, like say a group of a team or like a tent or like a stadium and you knew that everyone knew that the impossible was possible. Like, you know what I mean? But like that that that's gonna help a lot. And it's gonna help a lot. It's like it almost is a positive attitude. It's not even like yeah, it is almost positive attitude. Personality is different, but positive attitude. Um and then, how about doing things out of the God-given heart so that mind can follow? Like I think when you start to make goals, I think one of the best recommendations I could give you is starting with small goals and attaining those goals. I was there big time with attaining a lot of personal, very like wants that I felt like were just kind of personal. Like maybe it has to do with like getting whiter teeth or something like that. But like when it comes to, also setting small time goals, like ambitiously, I thought that was the most important. And then it grew out, and then it grew out to be something quite amazing. So like setting small time goals kind of makes you realize that yeah, the bigger goals are possible. And I mean, I think this is the same thing a whole bunch of people. So yeah, but setting those goals are going to be like what I think is possible. Because I think when you look at a really big person and you look at a really small person, I think you can have a need to know basis. And then that becomes something that, you have like almost a reciprocal response. And then that becomes like, oh, it is architecture, but it's architecture that you can live in. Like sometimes you're out in the world and you're looking for new stuff all the time. It's just becoming like random as freak. Like Like that's cool too. Like I'm a part. I love that stuff too. But like when there is architecture that kind of makes you like understand, like that's how that went down. Even though you can't really personify, 10,000 reasons at once, but you can have like a speech about it. You know what I mean? Like you can't really dwell yourself upon something that doesn't make you go. Like to me, like I want to do something and push the whole generation forward. And I felt like an observance of, what I've done, you can really listen to me now. But no, but you can really listen to me if I didn't make the mistakes that I made previously. Like, but you can really listen to me. And that one I feel like is like kind of almost like what I was trying to like, you know, like pushing a whole generation forward. Like, how would you be able to do that? Like, it's it's a lot. It's a lot of just drives, a lot of reasons, a lot of what you need to do in order to get there. It's a lot of people are pushing their butt off. You go. I see you, man. A lot of man. I wish I'd be able to have a family. I wish I'd be able to have a beautiful wife. It's a lot of, dang. Can you make your family understand you with the loving that you want? Because I think a lot of times family doesn't know you, and I think a lot of times family does know you. They know the best for you, but they actually didn't know how much livelihood you were a part of. And so that makes you kind of successful, and it makes you kind of a bigger man because not because of but you feel enlarged. You feel enlarged in what you are. Like that could push a whole generation forward because simply by the actions, simply by the actions, and that is expectations. And then that is calm headed. The difficult part is I only did like half of that, 1.5. Like, difficult part about that is I went through it and I did it well and I did it very well. But when I took when I took something and I took something really quick and I made it into something that, it's been years kind of thing, like sometimes it wasn't because it was out of unnecessariness, mistakes that were made, a lag, because sometimes it was, but it's on the threshold. It was having a personal response that I know I could like kind of free flow off of. And that's what communication I feel like is. And I feel like that's what could really, you know, make people understand that like freedom is out there. It's how much you dream. Like, what could you dream? What could you dream about something else and, being part of something that's so great, but you know that the greatness is something that's not what you will ever expect. So your imagination alone won't even be able to understand where you're coming from, right? So it's like you're in a battle with the main character, or are you in a battle, like, are you in a you know, peace proponent form that makes you understand, like, you gotta do what you gotta do, you gotta succeed. No, 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 no. It's like, you could be somebody else, like, you could be what you want to be a part of. And, like, why? Sometimes I don't know why I did the things that I did and said the same things I said. But why is it that there was a certain perspective I told myself not to? But anyways, I'm going backwards, pushing forward. The platform is freaking amazing when it's aligned. Pushing forward. How do things and it doesn't actually, no, excuse me, is silence really golden? Fine, gentlemen and women. Like, is silence really golden? Like, say it was like, just left. Like, just left there. Like, is silence really golden? Dang it, man. So to cap off this one, some say that a real person can do it all. I think there are a lot of fictionary norms that kind of apply how a person can perceive all of that and how it does it all real. But yes, I cast my worries to the one man that isn't just a man, it's Jesus Christ. That's the, that's still where it is. I sin, but that's what it, Jesus is like. Jesus right there with you. Um, it's right there. He can do it all. So that's yeah.